Knock knock.
Who's there?
Doctor.
Doctor? Doctor who?
Correct! Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, where we just took a vote and decided that film and TV theory was just way too long of a name, so just go with it. So I finally did it! I bought into the hype and watched an episode of Doctor Who, then 2, then 3, then 3 seasons, and I get it. I see the reasons for all the Time Lord love. I mean, what's not to like about a time-traveling, dual-hearted alien with a super tool and an adorable accent? Am I allowed to say that as a guy? Is that okay? Or a show with the bollocks, that's right, look at me using the Englishisms, to do episodes with plot lines about things like dinosaurs on freaking spaceships. Yeah, and you thought the new Jurassic Park looked cool. So for those of you who haven't drank the Kool-Aid yet, the show depicts the adventures of a mysterious and eccentric Time Lord known as the Doctor, who travels through time and space in his time machine, the TARDIS. You know, that 1950s blue British police box that shows up as a design on everything from bathrobes to Jell-O molds? Yeah, that thing travels through time and space. How?
It's bigger on the inside.
Other things to know? The Doctor regenerates with a new face every now and then when his two-hearted body is about to die. They're currently on the 12th Doctor, or 13th, depends on how you look at it. It's a long story. The Doctor often travels with his companions, facing alien foes in bizarre scenarios, including the aforementioned dinosaurs on spaceships, and generally just helping people out and righting wrongdoings. And there you go. I just caught you up on 813 episodes spanning 52 years in the space of one opening paragraph. But one question all the Whovians on Tumblr want to know is whether a real-life Time Lord can exist. Sorry, that was a typo. Let's try it again. Whether a real-life Time Lord can exist. In other words, we're gonna look at what makes a doctor, and from there discern whether or not those things are possible in the realm of human experience. But MatPat, I hear your angry blog rant now. The Doctor is an alien. And yes, I know that, but since the Doctor looks like a human man in every single regeneration, despite having any alien race ever conceived as a potential model, and yet still ends up being a human, we're sticking with that.
I still got legs. Good.
So perhaps the better question for today's episode is, can a human fit the bill and become a Time Lord? So let's look at some of the things that make this guy, and this guy, and these guys, and maybe this guy, tick. 1. The Doctor has 2 working hearts that beat at 170 beats per minute. 2. He has an internal body temperature of 15 degrees Celsius or 59 degrees Fahrenheit. 3. Obvi, he travels through time and space in a time machine. 4. He has a sonic screwdriver which functions as a deus ex machina. Sorry, read that wrong. A do-it-all tool. And 5. He regenerates into a new body when he's dying and then lives for hundreds of years. That is a lot. And even for a show whose average episode is 5 times that of most other YouTube videos, we can't cover all that in one episode. So let's spend some time today focusing on one element, the Doctor's biology. Let's begin with the two-heart thing, otherwise known as a binary vascular system. Believe it or not, there are actually numerous documented incidences of actual humans being born with 2 hearts. This baby, born in Zimbabwe in 2013, for instance, has 2 hearts, but also 3 legs, 4 feet, and 2 heads, and some other things that we don't need to go into here. But that's not really what we're looking for. More commonly, humans who have a faulty heart get a second heart implanted on top of the first one. This is called a heterotopic heart transplant and is done so that the weak heart can rest and heal. Take for instance Hannah Clark, now 16, who had a second heart grafted onto her own heart to save her life when she was only 2 years old. Her original heart had time to reset, rebuild, and is now working just fine on its own. Or how about the case of the 71-year-old man in Italy who lived through dueling heart attacks in his 2 hearts. Cue that dueling banjos music. Yep, that's about as much as we can play without breaching copyright. The trouble in this case was that the man developed 2 independent heart rhythms when the old heart repaired itself. To cure this apparent dysrhythmia, doctors gave him medication, which caused both hearts to shut down. Now that, my friends, is quality doctoring right there. Seal of approval. Don't worry, they figured it all out and revived him with a defibrillator to both hearts. He's alive and well and drinking plenty of Italian red wine, which is actually supposed to be really good for your heart. hearts. Okay, great. So humans can live with 2 hearts if they're specially implanted by non-WHO doctors, but we're talking about being born naturally with 2 hearts. Is that possible? Well, get this. It's not only possible, we've all lived with 2 hearts at some point in our lives. Mind blown. When we humans are in the embryonic stage of development, we actually do have 2 hearts. This stage is called the heart primordial. The 2 hearts do eventually fuse together into 1 heart with 4 chambers, but yes, at some point we've all had a binary vascular system. So knowing all this, some curious scientists in the 20s and 30s were able to keep the heart from fusing in some lab frogs. And those little green guys did grow up with 2 hearts and no issues, which I'm assuming just made them more loving toward their frog parents. In humans though, no similar experiments have been done, for obvious reasons. And in the case of heart defects, non-WHO doctors are able to find them and fix them in utero, so there aren't any documented cases. Still, we have been shown to be able to live with 2 hearts. Mark 1 for yes to Time Lords existing. Okay then, so how about the 170 beats per minute thing? Seems kinda fast, doesn't it? Well again, that's a big point in the yes column. The heart is a muscle, and its contractions are known as heartbeats, right? Nothing earth-shattering there. Well, the refractory period of cardiac muscle, or the time it takes between pulses, is between 250 and 300 milliseconds. This means that the heart can beat at its fastest at 200 to 240 beats per minute. If your heartbeat lingers at those high of rates, then you've probably got some issues to attend to, because it means the heart isn't pumping blood efficiently. Or it just means that you're a small child, as small children's hearts beat faster. But regardless, that was pretty easy to prove. Another point in the Time Lord category. You can have a heartbeat at over 170 beats per minute. So now let's move away from the heart. There's one more biologic component to our Time Lord, his incredibly low body temperature. I mean, as Winterfresh commercials have always reminded me, it's
scorching 98.6 degrees inside your mouth.
So, can you drop that by nearly 40 degrees and still live to match the doctor's 59-degree internal temperature? Well, let's see. Us humans aren't like Gallifreyans. We're incredibly sensitive creatures. Mild hypothermia sets in at 95 degrees Fahrenheit, amnesia at 91, and loss of consciousness at 82. Any body temp below 70 and you're pretty much screwed. However, there is one recorded instance of an adult surviving a body temperature of 56.7 degrees. Anna Elizabeth Johansson Bagenholm, a Swedish radiologist, or Time Lord in disguise maybe, who survived 80 minutes in freezing water after a skiing accident left her trapped under a layer of ice. During that time, she had extreme hypothermia, and her body temperature dropped to 13.7 degrees Celsius, 56.7 degrees Fahrenheit. After being rescued and transported by helicopter to a hospital, more than 100 doctors and nurses worked in shifts for 9 hours to save Anna's life. She woke up 10 days later after the accident, paralyzed from the neck down, and then spent 2 months recovering in an intensive care unit. The miraculous thing though is, she's now almost 100% recovered. And that was the lowest body temperature in history until another Swede, a 7-year-old named Stella, survived nearly drowning and getting down to 13 degrees Celsius. That's 55.4 degrees Fahrenheit. So what have we learned here today? That there is something super weird about people almost freezing to death in Sweden. You be careful out there, PewDiePie. Oh, and we also learned that body temperature is very, very important, and we can't really function with just a few degrees of drop. But for the sake of the Doctor Who argument, we have 2 survivors with Time Lordian temperatures. So put a point in the Time Lord column, but just barely. Maybe like 0.6 of a point or something. And there you have it. We've just covered the easy stuff. We haven't even tackled the complexities of time and space.
I was born in the 49th century.
What?
So grab your quantum spanner and watch out for Blorgons. Ah, shoot, right idea, wrong show. Your sonic screwdriver and watch out for Daleks, cause next time, we're covering the subject of time, and specifically time travel. But in the meantime, that's just a theory. A TV theory, yeah, it still doesn't work. A film theory. And cut. Welcome to the Super Amazing End Card Tournament, where I give you a fun question to end the episode, you vote, and I give you the results in a future episode. Easy as that. Who doesn't like having their opinions heard in an online video forum? This week, it's a Whovian villain throwdown. Who is the best Doctor Who villain? I mean, there have been so many over the years, so let's narrow the field down a bit to the top 3. The Weeping Angels, the Cybermen, or the Daleks? Will our tin can buddies have what it takes to exterminate the competition? Click on one to cast your vote and get taken to the Film Theorist channel page, where you can subscribe, which I would recommend you do so that way you know when part 2 of this series comes out, and check out more episodes overanalyzing your favorite TV shows and films. I'm super excited about everything that's going on here. I hope you are too. But in the meantime, if you'll excuse me, I need to binge watch some Community. That Quantum Spanner and Blorgon joke at the end got me in the mood for some Inspector Space Time.
6 seasons and a movie!